Hello! Welcome back to yet another edition of Classic Model Trains. I'm Ron. I'm running a week behind right now because here 2 weeks ago I tried to die from the seasonal flu. I wanted to die. Felt like I was going to die, but of course, but I made it through, and that put me behind. So that's why I didn't have a video last week, because I have found an interesting set of trains. Every time I'd be in the store and you'd see things that look like this, I didn't know what they were. I thought they were just the junkiest looking thing, and I never bothered with them. But in all this research that I've been doing, I came across this website, tcawestern.org. Got a website and they've got a bunch of information on it. Well, these ended up being pre-war Marx trains. Pre-war. Every time I keep doing a video, I keep going backwards in years, finding older and older and older stuff. This is neat. But you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. That's why I'm making all these videos right here, to bring everybody up to speed on the history of our hobby. These are referred to as 6-inch cars because they're all 6 inches long and they all use the exact same chassis. So here's the tender, which is just a caboose that's painted up. The tanker cars, they made some gondolas. They've all got single, just 4 wheels underneath of them. Very, very simple, very inexpensive. Marx trains came in at a price point that working families could afford. Now, back in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, if you had brand new Lionels to play with, your dad had a pretty damn good job. But, if your dad was a ditch digger or worked at the factory, and you probably ended up with some brand new Marx, because Marx were always less expensive than the Lionels. Why? Because they were manufactured easier. They didn't have a bunch of fancy bells and whistles, but they were simple. And they let poor kids dream about model trains too. Well, I found these ones. I found this locomotive is what started it right here at a donation center. And because I've been to this website, TCA Western, I've seen the pictures of it, I finally knew what it was. I didn't know what the heck, I just thought it was just some weird Japanese toy, but no, it's made in America Marx. So I had to buy it, I had to bring it home, and I had to do a video on it. You've probably seen it in my last video, Vintage Store Finds. Well, here we go, we're gonna fix it up on this one here. So sit back, take you through my little journey of maybe getting this clockwork working, maybe not getting this clockwork working. Let's find out. This little bugger here's got a phenomenal amount of rust in it. It's like just the front wheels drive. But a couple screws, pop this clockwork out. Oh, is it gonna let me? Is it? Oh, I don't know. Oh, sure. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever had to use a rust penetrant to get a locomotive taken apart. Just might as well give her hell all over. I mean, it certainly can't hurt, right? One wouldn't think so. Should have done this a couple days ago. Now I gotta sit around and wait for this to do its job. Maybe I used a little too much. Maybe. This tender that I ordered up from eBay, it's dirty. I'm gonna see if I can, it's got a hell of a dent right there. See if we can get inside of it and fix it up a little bit. Just got these tabs, which are sitting right in here, that kind of hold this whole thing together. So if we bend these tabs up, we should be able to get the chassis off of the body. Oh yeah, there's a stamping under here that says made in USA. Jay from T out there always wanted to know where these things were made from. If they're made in Japan or not. Nope, they're made in America. It's kind of got the consistency of a steel beer can from back in the day, if you guys remember those. We'll get these tabs straightened back up for the reassembly process. But I think I'm going to take it to the sink. I'm going to give it a little light scrubbing. Just some. It's like a little bit of soaking. And these screws, they've loosened up. Do a little in and out. I'm not going to jam the hell out of them because I don't want them to break off. Slowly work these little fellers out. Yes. Yes. Bonus. One more to go. And this should let this clockwork come out of here. Huh. Holy. Ah. Well, I don't think she's going to wind up and work again. That's a bummer. Well, since this motor is completely shot, here's the springs sticking up on it. I still want to know what makes it work. So it's unbelievably rusty, although everything turns. I am going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner, and I'm going to put some vinegar in. They say vinegar clears off rust. So I am going to find out how well vinegar and ultrasonic cleaners do. What do we think? We'll give it 10 minutes. Cleaning that rusty motor, it took a lot of attempts. Soaked it in vinegar, and then I'd put it in simple green, and then I'd run it through the ultrasonic cleaner for 20 minutes at about 140 degrees. And I repeated this over and over and over to finally get the thing to look as good as it's going to look here when it shows up. But it took a couple days. So I'd move around between doing body work, cleaning up the cars, work on the motor. I thought this would be a quickie little, yeah. So continuing on, just a very long process to get that clockwork, all that dang rust off there. Mm-hmm. After running this through the ultrasonic cleaner, the paint came off, but the rust, of course, is still on it. So it could be disassembled more by taking these tabs apart, and I can get this front end off. And I'm going to try to detail this up even more and try to get it down to a bare metal. Sanding, wire wheeling, something like that. Trying to get her to look, better. Well, after a significant amount of disassembly and prep time, sanded the whole body down. I didn't really want to go in this deep, but there was really no way to make this thing look pretty, with the original paint job that was on it. So soaked stuff in vinegar, sanded it. So now we're going to prime it, and then we'll wait a little bit, and then we're going to give it a gloss paint job. Yep. Well, a little bit of primer sure brought these things around. 20 degrees outside, standing outside to paint them. So now I'm gonna give them some of this, a little psst, 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 and make them prettier. A couple coats, I suppose. Maybe tomorrow they'll be dry enough to touch. After repeated soakings in white vinegar and then putting it in the ultrasonic cleaner with some simple green, this is what the Clockwork engine looks like now. A little bit of debris that's on it, but for the most part, that rust is gone in the paint and everything else. So I am going to come by with a little Dremel here, and I'm going to try to clean up a little bit of this stuff that'll be seen, because I've been working on this for a couple days on and off, and it's just getting old now. So we're really close. Nice thing about it is everything still works on it. Here's broken pieces of the spring that came out, and here the spring is still in there. It's broken off right there. This is what the spring, the end of it looked like, and it latched right underneath on this tip. So maybe I can drill a new hole in that, or come up with another idea to replace the spring, because it looks like I've probably lost, I'd say a good 18 inches of spring is broken off here. Thick, pretty thick stuff too. So we'll keep on we'll keep on plugging away. See if we can make it look pretty. I have to contain the end of this spring right down here, and I'm trying to mimic this hole right there. And this is spring steel, and drill bits, they don't work. So I read if you take the carbon out of the metal by warming it up and then letting it gently cool back down, it will take the spring steel portion out of it You want to turn it just until it almost turns red, and then stop. Now we're going to let that naturally cool down with no breezes blowing on it. So maybe 20 minutes from now, I guess I will attempt to drill it and see if it will drill this time, because it wasn't drilling at all the time before. Well, that worked out quite nicely. Now I just got to get it hooked into this little area right here. And we might have an operating clockwork. Might have it. Yes, maybe. Yes. Come on. No freaking way. Oh my God. It worked. Some of the problems I had, well, the gears, of course, were all turning, but whenever I try to wind it up, the gears and the tires and everything would turn also. And I kept farting with this, and if you can see this coupling right here, when I turn this, it moves away from this gear, and that was seized up. And I just kept working it, and I kept spraying the old PB inside there. And then I ended up having to pry it. I got it to pry away. And then it finally made it to where this would move away from the spring. So now you push this back, and that's going to lock all this into shape. God, I can't believe this thing works. And then put it on the track, give this, oh, that's what's doing that. So it is supposed to have a bell in there. I can see what's on the end of this piece right here is acting like a striker, and it's supposed to be hitting that bell. And because the thing should be going ding, 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 ding. I wonder what a guy's got to do to get that to happen. Looks like this would come out right here. This would be really groovy to hear it ding, ding. This little feller. Maybe you'll put this at more of a 90-degree angle here. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I got this little key here off of eBay from this feller here, Scott Moss, Marx Reproduction Train Parts. So I went ahead and gave all these metal cars a little turtle wax. You know, they're metal. Shine them up just like your outfit. Give them a little protection. And we'll give them a little buff. Oh, man. Just like shining up that first car you had back in the day. Oh, look at that. Little bit of TLC is all they want. Give all these guys a little taste of oil here. Might only be about 40 years since they've had anything on them at all. Looks like this tender's a little more problematic. It's got some rust. Oh, it's even got a bent axle. Get this little feller whooped into shape. It looks as if it hasn't been used in a long time. I gotta tell you, I did not think that I would get that Clockwork motor running. When I pulled it out and those springs were hanging up there, I'm just like, oh, God. I found this book on Amazon that shows how to repair Clockwork motors, but I didn't order it. I just figured, well, let's just see what we can do. And I kept plugging away on that thing just to see if I could fix it, because I knew I couldn't bugger it up anymore. I mean, look at it. But I did happen to have a electric motor available for this Commodore Vanderbilt locomotive, because they came Clockwork or they came electrified. And since Marx doesn't change stuff around very much, you could put this might have come from something in the 50s, and it's going to go into that 1935 Commodore Vanderbilt locomotive. So I did have a backup. This one does work. I was going to tear it all apart and clean it, but hey, since I got the Clockwork working, now we got a Clockwork locomotive. I believe that the restoration is complete. I just pulled the Commodore Vanderbilt pulled it out of the oven this morning because I had to bake the paint on it because it, I didn't want to touch it and leave thumbprints in it. So let's put this thing on the track, put a little music to it, cast our gaze on it. Well, there it is right there. Now, this one is the oldest locomotive in my collection. Commodore Vanderbilt O-Gauge Clockwork. Hope that you guys enjoyed this journey that we went on down this road, making this old girl run. I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm going to get back onto another video right now because I'm a week behind. I'm a video or two behind. This is the Turkey Day week coming up. See if I can get another video out before Turkey Day. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Ron with Classic Model Trains. Bye-bye.